start.
Hello, I am Miss Laura.
And I'm Miss Lee.
I work at the Plainfield branch of the Kent District Library.
And I am at the Comstock Park Library.
And we get to talk to you about picture books. It's summer, it's hot, and it is time to just find a good book to sit down and read out loud or read to yourself. And so we have a pile of books that we want to share with you in hopes that you might find one or two or 16 that you really like and want to check out from the library. So Miss Lee's going to start us off with some of her favorites.
All right, the first book that I have is called Ulu and Greta. This is written by Diana Ejeta. And Ulu and Greta, sorry, there's a little bit of glare. They are cousins. Ulu lives in Nigeria and Greta lives in Italy. And they love each other so much. They have some of the same interests, but they can't see each other. So they play and they see each other via Zoom or the computer, whatever they're using. And they go through and they play with each other and talk with each other. And the pictures are just fantastic. I loved the simple pictures, but they're colorful and they're all on that black background. So you really get the contrast, which is really great. I just love this book because I feel like so often, especially in the summer, we see people we don't always see. And Ulu and Greta end up being able to spend some time with each other. They visit each other. And that just speaks to my summer experiences so much that I really loved this for a summer book. It's also a newer one. I thought this one, it's got very simple sentences in it. So I thought this one would be great anywhere from 2 to 7. The concepts can be for older children, but the words are definitely for younger children, which is fantastic. So it just is good for large age ranges. All right, the second book that I have is kind of the same thing. This one is about, so this is The Longer the Wait, the Bigger the Hug by Owen McLaughlin and Polly Dunbar. And in this, it's the end of winter and Hedgehog just misses Tortoise so much because Tortoise hibernates, but Hedgehog doesn't. And it just misses them so much. And again, it's that same experience. Like we're going to see each other in the summer and the spring. So it's that friendship and you learn a little bit about seasons and some of the animals. The art is also fantastic in this one. Again, simple pictures, simple sentences. So wide age range with this one as well. So I said about 2 to 7, anywhere in there. I enjoy this as an adult. So any kid, really. All right, what do you have for us, Miss Laura?
Yes, I have one that is just delightful. It's called Perfectly Pegasus by Jessie Sima. And Nimbus is a winged horse, you can see, who has the sky all to herself. She has clouds and she has constellations and she has rainbows, but sometimes the sky can get a little lonely. And so when Nimbus sees a shooting star, she makes a wish. Or she starts to make a wish. But the star goes so fast and she can't finish it. And so she needs to go in search of that star to finish her wish to be able to find her friend. And along the way, she finds Kelp, who is not quite a narwhal. And maybe you recognize that. That's another good book by Jessie Sima. And it just is a delightful companion book to Not Quite Narwhal. And it also is imaginative and fun and a good reminder of friendship, just as Miss Lee was saying, because friends are great to have. And it sometimes seems like it's been a while since we've seen friends. So I loved Perfectly Pegasus. Another fun imaginative book is Lizzie in the Clouds by the Fan Brothers. Lizzie is off to buy a cloud, even though clouds are not quite in style these days. When she gets home, she reads through the manual to find out how to take care of her cloud, and she does a very good job of following all of these directions. She knows that sometimes you might overwater them, and there might be some accidental puddling that happens, especially when your cloud is young. And it just is an imaginative book that is fun to think about, but then also the pictures are so detailed that you just want to kind of soak in all of the different parts when they're in the park or when they're in the city. You want to look at all of the details. The Fan brothers are great at that. So this one is a wonderful book, a great read aloud, but also one to just kind of find a spot in the shade and look at all the details in the book.
The cover is fantastic.
It is. It's wonderful. This book is Not For You by Shannon Hale is just a great book for everyone, I've decided. Stanley is excited because the bookmobile is coming. And I don't know if you've ever had the bookmobile visit you, but bookmobiles are pretty awesome. And Stanley is so excited to find just a great book for him. And he finds one. It's called The Mysterious Sandwich. And Stanley thinks that sounds wonderful because he likes mysteries and he likes sandwiches. So that sounds perfect, a perfect fit. But the person who's running the bookmobile tells him that he's not allowed to check this book out because the main character of The Mysterious Sandwich is a girl. And so obviously a boy cannot read a book about a girl. Then his friend comes up who is a girl and she gets to check out The Mysterious Sandwich. But as Stanley's waiting, he finds another book that's about a cat. But who can check out books about cats? Obviously, only cats can do that. And so Stanley, in this book is not for you, starts kind of realizing that no, all books are for all people. And it just made me laugh out loud. And it makes it's a good reminder of how we can read all kinds of books and enjoy them all.
Oh, that's such a great reminder. And that brings me kind of to my next book. So this is called Dear Reader, A Love Letter to Libraries, which, I mean, I think you think, yeah, I mean, it's a love letter to libraries. So as a librarian, I was piqued. My interest was piqued right away. But I loved this book because in here we've got a character who is Black and she loves to read. She loves to read and loves to go to the library and just pull all these books off. But the problem that she has is because she's Black, she doesn't see characters with her skin color and she loves fantasies, and particularly in those fantasies or science fiction. So she decides she is going to start writing her own stories, which is fantastic. I love her initiative in this book. So it teaches kids about perseverance, but also the importance of seeing yourself in the story. It's good to see other people, but it's also good to see ourselves sometimes represented in those stories. So I really loved that. This book is a little bit longer with more complex sentences. So I said 6 to 10 was about the age range. But if you can get your kid to sit on your lap, this is a great story for everyone.
Nice. Oh, I love that message. I think that's so important. I have another book about stories. This is called Abdul Story, and it's written by Jamalia Tompkins Bigelow, and the pictures are by Tiffany Rose, who actually illustrated the last book too, which is fun, and wrote it, I think.
Yes, she did.
So Abdul has so many stories in his head, and he loves telling them, and he also really wants to write them down. The problem is when he writes them down, it just doesn't come out right. His D's get mixed up with his P's and his B's, and it just is messy, and he gets very frustrated. Well, one day at school, an author comes to visit and talks about, similarly to what you talked about, how it's important to be able to see yourself in stories, and it's important to be able to tell the stories that are true to you. About the people in your neighborhood and about the experiences that you have experienced. And so Abdul really wants to write his story down, but gets so frustrated again until the author comes up next to him and shows him that his writing, when he gets started, is also just kind of all over the place and a big mess. And Abdul gains hope and recognizes that he can tell his story, and maybe it's not going to come out perfectly, but his voice is important and needs to be told too. So I really loved Abdul's story.
Yes, I love that you said his voice is important.
Yes.
All of our voices are important, right?
It's true.
It's such a good message.
It's true. The next book is called If You Live Here by Kate Gardner. Now, this is a rather simple book. There are not a lot of words on the page, and it is imaginative in that there are two kids who are imagining what it would be like to live in different places. So if you lived in a rocket, what would it be like? If you lived in an underground burrow, what would it be like? Which is fun. It's fun to see all of the different places and fun to imagine that for yourself. But what I really loved about this book is that we read it through the first time, and at the end, we started recognizing that there are clues on each page as to where you're going to go next. So we, as soon as we finished this book, we started over again and looked for those clues. And so I would suggest doing the same thing. Read it through, enjoy the imagination, and then go back through and do a little bit of a seek and find to try to find where's your clue as to the next place that you're going to travel to. So If You Live Here by Kate Gardner.
That's amazing.
Very fun. We had a lot of fun doing that.
There's two, I feel like, because they are so fun.
Yes.
So the next book that I have, this is a book of poetry. And I love it because the poetry is so beautiful. But this is Marshmallow Clouds. It's written by two different poets, Ted Kuzer and Connie Wanek. And this is just great for all ages. Again, if you can get your kid to sit down and just listen to the rhythmic of the poetry, it's fantastic. It's beautiful. The pictures are soothing, calming, just beautiful. So I love this book because they play with words. There's a little bit of rhyming in there, which is really great for literacy. And it goes through like different things like air, water, fire, and talks about them in different ways. Like she links fire with meteor showers, which we just had one, a couple of weeks ago. So that was amazing to be able to see and put it in a different way. So it teaches a little bit of metaphor and similes with some rhyming. It's a really, really beautiful book. I said about ages 5 and up, just because the poems are shorter. So it's good for younger kids and then all the way up through really adulthood, because who doesn't enjoy a good poem?
Well, and it sounds like is it all nature?
It's all nature.
So that is what a great summer thing to be able to just be able to seep in all of the nature and the outdoors.
Absolutely.
How fun. I'm excited for that one. I have another poetry book. This one is called Daddy Speaks Love by Leah Henderson, and the pictures are by E.B. Lewis. So Father's Day is approaching when I'm doing this video right now. And this book is just a beautiful celebration of all dads. It is lyrical. I don't think I would say that it's a poetry book, but it does have kind of a rhythm and a rhyme to it. But it is just a wonderful celebration of all the ways that dads love. And each of the pictures have different dads and different kids, and they're doing different activities together. And it just, it makes you appreciate the people in your life who are encouraging you. And then it also makes you want to be one of those people in kids' lives as well, to show love. I definitely got choked up in this one when I read it aloud, because it just so beautifully illustrates just love. So Daddy Speaks Love.
Oh, that's fun. I have a book about families as well. So in this one's called I Am Golden by Eva Chen. And in this book, she is an Asian American, but she feels so different from her classmates. And she's talking to her parents about this, and they're showing her how beautiful it is to be different. Because if everyone was the same, that would be no fun, right? The world would be very boring.
Very boring.
Yeah. So she's finding the beauty in being different. And gold is the color that kind of resonates with her and her history. She learns a lot about her cultural heritage through her parents and her family history. And then in the end, she just learns to love herself and all of her differences. So I really loved this book. This one, because it is a little bit longer sentences and harder words, maybe a little bit harder concepts. 5 to 11, I thought this one would be good for, but it's just really beautifully written. Talks about a lot of great concepts, and the art's fantastic. I loved the color palette that the artist chose. So This is I Am Golden.
So I have a question for you, Miss Lee. If you were a color, what color do you think you would be?
Oh, I would be teal.
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 Nice.
Yes.
I love it. I think I would be spring green.
Spring green.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
I have another book that just has beautiful colors. It's called Would You Come Too by Liz Garton Scallion. And it's another wonderful celebration of nature, similar to Marshmallow Clouds. This book also is quite lyrical. There are short words on the phrase or on the pages, pardon me. But it really is just about kids who want to go outside and play. And so they invite all of the neighborhood kids to come on out and they explore. They make mud pies. They look for birds and feathers. They stop and examine all of the small things that often we rush past when we're busy in our day. And it just made me, when I read it, I wanted to stop and look at all the beautiful pictures, but then I also wanted to go outside and I wanted to look at the flowers and take time to listen to the birds and just be outside. In Michigan summers, that is a good time to be outside. So Would You Come Too? I highly suggest this one. It's a good celebration of nature and it makes you want to go run outside.
Oh, which is perfect for summer.
It is.
The next one I have is for those icky kind of rainy days outside. So this is called The Year We Learned to Fly by Jacqueline Woodson, who is one of my favorite authors.
I love her.
Yes, she is just so beautiful with her words. So this book is about a little girl and her brother who are stuck inside. And they're bored. And I think it's her grandma tells her, use your imagination to get out of this house. So what do? They go find books. And instead of fighting like they were doing in the beginning of the story, they learn how to work together and use their imagination with the help of books to cure their boredom. It's really, really beautiful. The illustrations, because it looks like they're just going to these places that they're reading about. And they find that they actually want to read more even on days when it's sunny out.
Oh, perfect.
Which is fantastic. So this is about new friends, and curing that boredom in the summertime, especially when we don't have school and homework, all that stuff. I also really appreciated that the characters in here lived in an apartment. It's really great to see different types of homes that we live in, because not everybody has a house. So I loved that as well. This is really great for ages 5 to 11, just because it is a little bit longer story, but just a great, fantastic book for the summer.
And the pictures are so beautiful too. The colors, and it's a lovely book.
Yes.
So this is a little off topic, but I do love cake. And in the summer especially, we should eat lots of cake and ice cream. So I actually have 2 books about cake. This first one is called Blueberry Cake, and it's written and illustrated by Sarah Dillard. And I don't know about you, but Blueberries for Sale is one of my all-time favorite books ever by Robert McCloskey. And that's quite an old book. This one is a newer one that tells the story of the bear who's picking blueberries. So there's a little bear that wakes up one morning and he decides that he would really like some blueberry cake. And his mother, his bear mama, says that yes, they can have blueberry cake if he goes and picks the blueberries, which he does until he sits down and eats them all. And then he gets distracted by the butterfly, and then he gets distracted by the wildflowers. And so when he comes home, he's ready for blueberry cake, but he doesn't have any blueberries. This is a very simply worded book. There are not very many words at all. But the pictures tell a wonderful story. And if you pay careful attention at the very end, you can see Sal and her mama picking blueberries. So blueberry cake is a great one, especially when it's time to go pick those berries in the summer in Michigan.
That's a very smart mother.
It's true. And then ready for another cake book. This one is called Sometimes Cake by Edwina Wyatt. And the pictures are by Tasman Ainsley. And this just warmed my heart. So Audrey and Lion are friends. And throughout this book, Audrey finds Lion and he is ready to celebrate. First, he's ready to celebrate cake. And Audrey suggests that maybe they celebrate coconut too. That seems like a good fit.
That does seem fair.
And then the next day, Audrey finds Lion and he wants to celebrate orange. And Audrey thinks, yeah, purple might be a good color to celebrate as well. Maybe teal and spring green.
Yeah.
And they celebrate Tuesdays, but also Thursdays. But one time, Audrey comes and finds Lion, and Lion is not feeling like celebrating. He's feeling a little bit down. And so Audrey decides that they should celebrate ordinary days too. And I just love that idea of the fact that we can celebrate all the things. We can celebrate ordinary days too. It's just this gem of a book. So sometimes cake, celebrate all those days.
Yeah, that's fantastic because we have so many different emotions that we've got to talk
true.
about.
It's true. It's very true.
Well, I've got one that's a very emotional book for this young boy here. He just immigrated. And he does not speak English. It's his first day in school, and everybody's trying to talk to him, and it sounds like gibberish. Hence the title, Gibberish by Young Vo. I loved this book. I'm going to show you the back of the book because I think it's fantastic. You can kind of see everybody kind of looks like a cartoon alien.
They do.
And I thought that was a pretty fun reversal. So he's coming in, doesn't understand everybody. And he really wants to make a connection and make a friend because he's lonely in his class and he wants so bad to understand. And he finds a friend. And as they become friends and she teaches him some words by coloring the pictures out for him. And as she teaches him, she goes from from being a cartoon into being more of like a person. And she becomes colorful, which before that she was black and white. So I really think this is an important book about connection and how those connections bring color to our lives.
Yes.
And they're so important. I think this is a really fantastic book to use to talk with our kids about immigration right now, especially with the war going on in Ukraine and how we might see more immigrants. So this is just a fantastic book. I really enjoyed that one.
A good book to kind of put yourself in other people's shoes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Nice.
The next book I have is just a fun book. This is called The Great Zapfino by Mac Barnett and Marla Frazee. And this one I love. The pictures are so simple. I think they're just pencil pictures, but they really tell a lot of the story. And he is a trapeze jumper. He's supposed to jump from like a 30-foot height building onto a trampoline, and he's scared and ends up running away. And he gets a job as an elevator operator, but the building starts on fire. So what's he gonna do to save himself and save, I think, someone in the building?
Yes.
So it was just really fun story about overcoming our fear and doing what we're trained, I suppose, to do, right?
Oh, I love that.
So I thought this one was really great. I said ages 4 to 11 because it's a good book to talk about emotions, but also just really fun.
And detailed pictures, is that true?
Absolutely.
A lot of words, or is it all wordless?
So this is very few words.
Okay.
Some of the pages have no words whatsoever.
Oh, that's
So
fun
it's
too.
really told through the art, which and it's great. It keeps your attention.
Yes.
And it's a fantastic illustrator who
Yes.
can do that. So,
Very good.
yes, Mac
fun.
Barnett is an amazing author. So
Yes.
this is a really fun read for this summer.
How fun.
Yes.
I have a pile of books now that I have to read. That is great.
Absolutely. So that is all of the books we have today. Please feel free to visit kdl.org. We're going to have this book list up for you so you can just go and put as many on hold as you want really easily. And if you have any questions, just please give us a call at our number, which is 784-2007. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a fantastic summer. We hope to see you at all the many KDL events we have. And I hope you participate in the Summer Wonder Reading Challenge.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so
you all.
much.